Post-modern art, the caves tradition. This period the two types of cave. Sotia, Yala halls and the Bihara residential halls. Udaygiri and Kandagiri cave, Odisha. Bhubaneswar. They were the possibility they carved out as the resident of Jain monks. There are 18 caves of Udaygiri and 15 in Kandagiri. Inscription is the carved out in the script. Rani Kumbha caves in the Udaygiri. The temple stories is to the becomes the large and the stone was the initially used in the village of the of Ekdas. Sunga dynasty introduced the idea of the torrents as the beautiful, decorate gateways to the stupas. The torrents were the decentrally the gas with the bigger the veterans and obedience of the elastic influence. The sun sees to see as the upper as well as the production but the production of the sun to report it as the more beautifully decorate the doorways and the depressed areas of the life of the Buddha and the Gasta maker composition. The high the feeling of the entire space, the depreciation of the mixer cut, the realistic and there is no stiffness in the body. The gravitated is the appropriate move. The advanced side was the continue to be the is the representative the Buddha and the Maharishi Buddhas, according to the tradition. 24 Buddhas, but only the first on the Tibetan and last six. Last six the sculpture and the sculpture developed and in the this period had three divine regions of India, the central and Kandahar, Mathura, and Amravati. Gupta S. Architecture and the development of the caves, the river, and the coast, and the however, the use of buildings of the wall of the caves became an added features. Some of the finest examples of the paintings can be found in the caves of Ajanta and Ellora. Ajanta caves. There are 29 caves used as the Vihara and used as the Satya. architecture, sculpture, and painting. Fresco mural painting inside the cave. Lime plaster in the applied on it. The natural color was the applied on it. Ellora Caves, the located in the Aurangzebad district, is 100 kilometers from Ajanta. Fifth and 11th century AD. The Hindu and Buddhist cave were the Rashtrakuta. Yoda dynasty. The caves Ajanta caves, the Ellora cave temples. Some of the prominent caves of Ellora are Rabon Ki Khai, caves number 14, Dashavara temple. Caves number 16, Kailash temple dedicated to the Lord Shiv. It was developed under the patronage of the Rashtrakuta kings Krishna I and was the this in the caves number 16. There is also a sculpture Cap number 21, Rameshwar Lena. Cap number 29, Dumar Lena. To the famous joint caves are the Indra Shaba, caps number 32, the Jagannath Shaba, cap number 33. Elephant caves. Bark caves. Uppercote in Nashik Caves. It is located southwest of Nashik. Hinayana period of the Buddhist architecture and dating back to the past. These are the near Mumbai. It was the developed in the Gupta period as a Brahmanical camp. It was later converted into a Christian camp. The sculpture school was adapted is the Samrat the sculpture is the developed it was the characteristic by the use of green colored sandstone and the use of metal. Many is in the sun taps the middle that transfer the depressive covering both the shoulders and the hologram and the head as the very retina. The ornament runs the breast as the mother of the image. The golden the make the dragon the Thomas and the hologram the head is the usually decorated. The other example is the cause to architecture. The Gupta were the first who listed the temple architecture on the large scale in North India. The temples, the architecture should characterize during their days. It then developed in the style was the flat roof, the temple with the square in the shape. Thus the portico was the development on the shield bolt on the low platform. Second is this. The platform with the higher or the upright the forward is around the vertically on the basically was the uses behind the brother Krishna was done is this. Surgical in the village of the platform is the of the temple is the subsidiary the genius along with the principal deity. Temples was the description to the elongated the mental fluid the it in the giving it is the rectangular shape. The subsidiary series the village the side to is other on either side of the mental the giving the ground the is distinguishing the Sabbath temple that they have called for this similar to the tradition the difference between Syrian is the rectangular example that temple in Solapur, fifth stage. Yes. worship Shikara. It is in the mountain by seas the shepherd various from the middle to garden Vahana. It is the mouth of the vehicle of the man, and Tatian is the place as the before the Nagra School of Architecture. Subsidiary of the temple, the depending upon the shape of the Shikaras, Rekha, Latin, the simple Shikara was the types score at the base and is the curve of the slope. The one together while on the top. The top is the called the Latina or the Rekha types Shikara. One version takes their sub-school developed under the Nagra style. This is the Nagra style Odisha and the Kalinga school. This is the Kalinga school and Pinta Jomudanda Khanta Pidha. This side is the Kalasha, Amalaka, Bhumi, Amala, Rahapaga, Jankha, and this set is the Brande Jangaha Pista. This the Bhumi Amala and uh, Rahapaga. This is the Gandhi and the Jan Jangaha and Barandi and Jangaha is a Bada. The architecture features of the Odisha temple are the classified in three orders, that is the Rekhapita means the Shikhara, Pitha due the Mandap and the Kakra gateway. Most of the main temple sites are located in the ancient Kalinga modern Puri district, including the Bhubaneswar or ancient Tiribhuvan Bera, Puri and the Kornak. The temples of the Odisha constitute a distinct substyle within the Nagara rotor. In the generally here the Shikara called tune or the recorded in Odisha is the particular almost uh, until the tops where it is the subsidiary carpets are the inward. Devils are the precedent as used by the mandapas called the Jagamohan in the Odisha. The ground plans of the main temple is the almost always the square. The exterior of the temples are lavishly carved. There the interior generally could bear. An Odisha temple usually have the boundary wall. Example, Konark temple, Jagannath temple, and Lingaras temple. B is the Khajuraho and the Sandal school. The under the Sandala kings of Bundel, Bundelkhand. Bundelkhand is a great school of architecture flourished in the 10th and 11th century. An example of this style is the group of the temples at Khajuraho in the Madhya Pradesh. The furnace in the Saivi temples known as the Kandriya Mahadev built the around CE 1000. The standard types of the Khajuraho temple has the shrine room and the assembly hall and the entrance portico. These units were the thread as the whole the whereas in the Odishan style they were the uh, conceived as the separate elements joined by vestibules both the exterior and the interior of the temples were lavishly carved. The shikara is the carved for it is the hold the land and maintain. The shikaras emerge from the central tower. The halls and porticos of the temple are also the crowd with the smaller tower which rise the progressive to let the eye up to the main tower and give the impression of the mountain range. The temple were made of the sandstone. The Khosrow's temples are also known for their the extensive the erected sculpture. The erotic expansion is given the equal importance in human experience as the spiritual uh, pursuit, pursuit, and it is the seen as the part of the larger cosmic whole. Many the Hindu temples, therefore the features the Mithun, embracing couple. The scripture the consider that uh, Auspicious usually they are the place at the entrance of the temples or on in the exterior hall, or they may also be the place on the wall between the mandapa and the main sharing. The C is the Solanki school, Maro Gurjaras style. The Solankia by Solanki, kings of Gujarat. This is the Chalukya by Solanki, kings of Gujarat. The Chalukya by Solanki, kings of Gujarat, patronized this school of architecture that the flourished from the 11th and 13th century. The Bimala, Tespala, and Vastupala temples at Mount Abu exhibit this style. The most outstanding features of this style is it is the neat and the lovely decorations. The Sun Temple and the Modehera dates back to the early 11th century and was the boat of the Raja Bhimdev I of the Solanki dynasty in 1026. The Solankis were a branch of the later Chalukyas. There is the massive of rectangular the steped tank called the Suryakont in the front of it. The proximity of the strait, the architecture to the water body such as the tank, the river or the pond has been the notice right from the earliest times. By the early 11th century, they had become the part of many temples. The 100 square meter rectangular pond in the Sharhabs, the grandest temple tank in India. In the 108 minis, the sharing and the curve in the between the step inside a tank, the hug the uh, ornamental ornamental arc floral lit on the Shaba Mandapa, the assembly hall, which is open of the site as was the fashion of the times in the western and the central India temples. The influence of the wood carving the tradition of Gujarat is the evident in the lavish the carving and sculpture work. However, the walls of the central small the shrines and the devoid of the Carvinegate are the left flank as the temple the faces the east and every year at the times of the un- uh, equinox the sun shines directly into the central shining temple architecture in South India. Dravid style South Indian temple architecture, also called Dravid style. The architecture invariably the employed for Hindu temples is the modern Tamil Nadu from the to 8 7 to 18th century. The characterized by the pyramidal or the Kutina types tower. The Biryan form are the found of the Karnataka, formerly Mysore, and the Andhra Pradesh state. The South India temples the concept the extension of the square, sembled the sensory top by the superstruct tower, or the sphere and the address the pillar boards or the hall mandapa, the enclosed by the wasted of the cells within a rectangular core. The extant halls of the temples are the segment by the black stairs and the carry niches, the house in the sculpture, the uh, superstructure or the tower above the sanctuary is the kutina uh, types and the consists of the arrangement of the gradually the receding stories in the pyramidal shapes. The story is the delineated by the pre-bed of the miniature shrines, rectangular with the burial blood, the roofs at the center. The tower is the stopped by the dome shape, the cupola, and the crying pot and the pinnale. The sum the feature of the Dravidian style, surrounded by the high boundary walls. The gateway, the gopuram, the temple, the premises is the laid out in the Panchayatran style, the Vimana. There is only one the Vimana in the Dravidian architecture on the tops of the main temple. The entrance of the Garbhagrihan had the sculpture of the Dwarapal. Water tank is the premises. The origins of the Dravid style can be observed in the Gupta period. The earliest extant example of the developed style are the 7th century rock cut the Shining and the Mahabalipuram and in the developed sculpture temple, the Shon temple. This is a 700 see at the same side. The south ending is the mostly fully the realized in the Aspirant in the temple at the Jobal board for the 133 to 10 by the Raja the Great and the Great Temple and Gangai Konda Kula from Gangai Konda Kulam from ruled about the 10,025 by the son of Rajendra Kula. The subsequently, the style became the increasingly the elaborate. The complex of the temple buildings, the enclosure by the court became the larger and in the number of the successive enclosure is it is the on the gateway the Gopura were dated by the Vijayanagara period 1136 to 1550 1565. The Gopuras had the increase in the size so that they dominated the mass. Smaller the temples inside the enclosures. For stages of the temple, the architecture had been observed in the South India mainly during the Pallav's rule around 6th century AD, which are as follow. Stage number Mahendra Group. It marked the beginnings of the rock cut, the caves, the architecture, and the Vagda Mandap was is the inside of the temple. The stage number 2 and the Narshima Group. The major developed during this period was the initiations of the decorations in the rock cut caves. The structure and the mandaps now become the rathas, which is the refined caves, the famous for beauty. The biggest ratha was called Dharmaraja Rath, and the smallest of the called a Draupadi Rath. The Dharmaraja Rath is the considered as the predecessor or Dravidian style is the temple making. State number 3 is the Rashimba group. At this stage, the real structure development of the temple the start and is removed the outside the cave. The earlier temples were part of caves. This is stage 4 is the Nandi group. It is the said to be the declining stage of the South Indian temple architecture and only the small temples were the construct in this period. Sola sculpture by Natras. The the upper right, the hand, the holds the drum, the voice that signifies the sound of the creation. All the creation that spring from the great son of the Damru. The upper left the hand hold the internal affairs of which the represented destruction. The destruction is the predecessor and the inevitable the counterpart of the creation. The lower right hand is the rises in the gesture of the Abhadya. A mudra signify the benediction. and preserving the devotees not to the affair. And the lower left hand pointed toward the uh, operates the portal and indicates the parts of the salvation of the Shiva is dancing on the figure of a small drop, and the symbol is the ignorance and the ego ego of and the individual. Limited and following the looks of the Shiva, which represent the flow of the river Ganges. Ganges. And the on ornamentations one ear of the Shiva has the male earrings, the whole the other has female. This represent the fusions of the male and female and is often the referred to as the Ardhan Ardhanareshwar. Ardhanareshwar, the snake is the twist around the arm of the ship, and the snake, the symbol is the Kundalini power, who is the residence in the human. The human discipline in the dormant stage. It the aroused one can the ascend to consequence. The nutras is the surrounded by the nimbus of the coloring light, which the symbol is the base unending cycles of time. Sub-style of the Dravid temples. The Nayaka style and Madhura school. The Nayakas rose on the fall of Vijayanagara Empire. Vijayanagara Empire. They continued the indicate the 1400 administration of the Dravid style. This is the Dravid style. The most famous the architectural landmark of this period is the Meenakshi and the Sundareshwar temple at the Madurai. This is the temple of architecture and the Meenakshi and Sundareshwar temple at Madurai. The great temple complex that actually has two shrines. The first one the dedicated to the Shiv is the Sundareshwar and the second is wife of Meenakshi. Anglo with all the features of the Dravidian style in the present and the additional the permanent feature the called the Brahmas are on the entries the Brahma are walks the corridors along the roof. Bachelor style and Vizianagar style. Vizianagar and legacy. The highly decorated walls and Gopurams where the province is represented in the front the side where the bolt on the sides and the monolithic rock pillar. The general temple's pillar had the mythical the creators yearly engraved in them. The temple complex were the enclosed by the boundaries, the enclosing wall were the larger. More than one mandapas were the bold in which the temple Central mandaps came to be known as the Kalyana Mandapa, the dedicated to the divine is the concept of the secular buildings inside the temple. The premises was also the activist during this period. Bashara Temple in the combined the features of the Vardhanagara school and Dravidian school, and the result in combined the features of Vardhanagara school, Dravidian school, plus of the Dravidian is in the intricate the sculpture design of the step on the directs and the temples. The reformation of the dynastic system who met the Aspirant is the temple Seleucus, Badami and the Kolyani Rashtrakutas and the Hoysala dynasty as well. Latka temple at Iho. This is the Krishna Central Tower. It was the shape the central tower for the Vimana in Dravid is that in this there is it is the characterized there is the Gopuram. Gopuram is the most important. It is the establishment of big in size. Then the Nagara style. The Nagara style. The Shikara is the most important element of the temple and the gateway installation. The forest the boundary in this is the temples and the boundary in the east and the boundary is the pieces. Entrance in the east the walls. The entrance in the east and the Ganga are the depressed in the bar zone. made an Indo-Islamic style. The Islamic architecture during Delhi Sultanate, imperial style, the Celeb dynasty. Tukle dynasty. The British period architecture, the use of the glass and stone. The focus was on the stone of the building stand, the decoration, the completion both the the interest design, the interior system of the construction, known as meta, the characterized by the sloping walls, example the cities of the Lodi dynasty. Construction of the tower was the reasons for the tower to the give the standard of the structure to the lower in the height of the tomb. The tombs for during this phase were hardened where without any other basic treasure and the executive guard against the city of Agra, the professional school of the architecture. Bengal School, the Islamic monument of the Bengal are not much that different from such the building the elsewhere in the plan and in the design, but the use of the different building material and the execution of the details that inspired by the local tradition have made them the quite distinct. The so-called the Bengal roof with the sloping garnishes with the oriented from the bamboo construction was adopted by the Muslims and later it thus spread widely. However, the other reason was the buildings material in the elements of the Bengal times and the rivers so even the use of the stone makes the limit and the large rate of the pillar was with mainly obtained from the templates. Therefore, the use of the bricks and the clay is of the sloping the Bengal roofs in the mosque. Example of the Rasul, the mosque or Athena mosque and at the core the real is the building the representing the construction and this is the is the was supported by the production so the sun and the the one the is the imposing structure so is called shark is the patronized by the shark sound appointed the so in hers was the influenced by the hotels period but it is the typically reason was it is the word the most of the characters expressed in the imposing describe the building, the center and the site, the way of the period, the unique visual of the buildings, here in the use of the body, the words of the characters of the world, the center and the surface of the players are the example of the love, schools, Malwa School. It is the exactly accurate the minaret is the outside. This is the notable example of the name, but the one also known as the modern school of architecture. The main Bijapur School. In the developed the degree the exam of the Adil Rai, the most important exam is the Gol Gumbaz. The Gol Gumbaz of the Bijapur is the mausoleum of the Muhammad Adil Shah. It is the largest tomb missile in the world, covering the total entry of the surface of the over 1600 square meters. The architecture was the use of the conditions was the it is the sailing was the train the support the grooves and the stone does the model use was the decorated is the carvings example the gold was recently the attention on the West Bank illuminated sentences. The men are dead remember which will with clarity in the other part of the lyrics called composed the Victoria Memorial. Texas with the Muslim architecture called the transmission as it were architecture that with the also were quick realized that the wants to establish a lasting empire in India unless the rule within their borders and the mingled with local population. Specifically the Rajput princes of Rajasthan, the early satisfied with the establishing and some so tolerance as youngest of the Delhi Sultan, the taking themselves conquers the keeping aloof from the other subs and thus the creating a windfall between themselves and the rulers of the country. They had the good the to rule. The Mughals rather than deliberately toward the conciliations and the pacification of the Hindus. The wanted everything the possible to live in the pieces and the meeting with his Hindu subject is the policy of the conservative stopping the admiration of the conservatives orthodox as the creator of the new Din-e-Ilahi. The repetitive in the architecture, Jahangir was the army to by blood. It is the mother, Solar by wings, the Princess Shah Jahan to the mountain is the policy the tolerance and the respect for the others. The Mughal army is the Mughal architecture.